Hi, this is George Alger, and welcome to this segment of Our Ventura TV. Today we're going to be talking about Hope for the World Foundation, and our guest expert is Lourdes Duque Baron. Welcome, Lourdes.
Thank you.
So let's start off with the most basic question. What is Hope for the World Foundation?
Hope for the World Foundation is a nonprofit organization that is newly organized, and it's going to benefit the very needy in the Philippines and Tecate, Mexico.
Good. Now, of all the places in the world, you've picked two that aren't next to each other, but there's probably some kind of similarity and why you chose to help those two. Could you explain that?
Okay, we picked Philippines for the obvious reasons, because I'm Filipino, my husband is Filipino, and the doctor that started this over 25 years ago is also Filipino. And when he started it, it was just a medical mission, and he approached my husband, who is a surgeon, and he told him, we really need someone who's a surgeon who can help us with the surgeries. So that's how it started in the Philippines. And Tecate, Mexico, for the simple reason that we were asked like 15 years ago by a patient of my husband, wanting my husband to go to Tecate, Mexico and see how we can help them. That's how it started.
Great. So would it be fair to say that you and your husband are the core of this foundation?
Yes.
Okay.
It is. It is.
Good. So speak a little bit more about what the organization does.
The organization before it became a nonprofit was just a group of 25 doctors with volunteers, nurses who were going to the Philippines with my husband. They would go there for 2 weeks, and they would do surgical and medical missions.
Okay. And when I think of surgeons, I think of pretty high-tech hospitals and whatnot, but I think that's not the case here. Can you speak a little bit more about the environment that they're going into?
Because it's surgical, you're right. It has to be with a hospital. So anywhere in the Philippines where they needed their help, it has to be an organized thing. It has to be in a hospital.
Okay. And is the activities and the people that are benefiting throughout the Philippines, or is it particular areas in the Philippines?
It's just particular areas for now, because it's very expensive to go there. Very, very expensive. And everybody just pays for their own expenses. And it's a big sacrifice.
Okay. So the organization is comprised of a number of doctors, and the doctors are helping the people in the Philippines and in Tecate, Mexico. They're volunteering. There's going to be some costs involved, at least in terms of transporting doctors around the globe to go to the Philippines anyway. So how does that get funded?
Well, every volunteer that goes pays for their own expenses. So it's really, like I said, very big sacrifice. Not to mention the fact that there's significant loss of revenue when you're not working. So it's really a big sacrifice. And they've been doing this for more than 25 years.
Wow, okay. Good. Now, can you speak about some of an example of a person who has benefited from this, whether it's in the Philippines or whether it's in Mexico?
In Mexico, they're only doing medical. They're not doing surgical mission.
Okay.
And it's only a one-day mission every first Saturday of a month. But in the Philippines, they are away for 2 weeks, and 4 days of that is for traveling, and the 10 days is really just straight surgical and medical mission. So it's really very tiring for them. And they help a lot of needy people. They have to be pre-screened by the doctors in the Philippines to make sure that they cannot afford to pay any doctor. Otherwise, the doctors over there would be mad.
Okay. And is this all types of surgery, similar to that you'd get in the United States, or is it, I guess it'd be specialized with the doctors. I guess that's how that would work.
He brings with him general surgeons. We have local surgeons over there who are plastic surgeons to take care of cleft palates and everything, but mostly general surgery.
Okay.
Now, what my husband does. Sorry.
Yeah, okay, good. And then as a nonprofit organization, I imagine you probably have volunteers or need volunteers. Is that the case?
Now that we just set it up as a nonprofit, we do need everybody's help because, like I said, it's over 25 years, and many of the avid doctors and volunteers, many of them have died, and some of them are very sick. So we really need a nonprofit organization now, so we can have people to come and help us, so that we can continue this kind of great work that they've done.
Good. So, are you saying you need more doctors as well?
Yes,
Okay.
the young ones.
Okay, good. So you need more doctors to volunteer their time to help. You also need other volunteers. Am I getting that
Yes,
correct? Okay,
yes.
speak about some
Nurses.
of the roles. Okay, nurses would be one. Speak about some other roles that people could fulfill in their help.
The people who are not in healthcare can still come. They can come in a way like there's so many things to do. From just packing or sorting out medication that has to be given away. It takes time and labor. So we really need everybody to help us. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to just maintain what they've been doing.
Good. And then what is your role in the organization?
My role in the organization is, number one, I did organize the nonprofit, all the expenses and everything, and my role is to be the number one fundraiser of this organization. We will have once a year fundraising, maybe a concert or something, but we will have an ongoing toys drive, a canned good drive, and we will have different drop-offs in Los Angeles County.
Good. Now, could you express a benefit that some of the volunteers might have derived? Certainly they're putting in time, and it's easy to see, wow, that's an awesome thing that they're doing, but I imagine there's a feeling of, some good feelings they would get through this process that might inspire other doctors to want to participate.
I will answer this in this way, because all of the volunteers have been to the mission with my husband. They always come back so uplifted. They want to go back and help them again. Almost every year it's like that. Even the young ones that would go. And there's more than 4 people who have changed their lives because they went to the mission with my husband.
Speak a little bit more. One of these persons, how it's changed their lives. To give a specific example of how that's occurred.
This young man, like 10 years ago, is a very privileged young man. His parents are very wealthy, and one of his parents talked to one of my husband's friends and said, "Can you just take his son, because he's just a spoiled guy. He doesn't do anything." To make my long story short, he went to the Philippines with my husband, and now he's going to be a orthopedic surgeon.
Wow. Okay, so
Yeah,
you gave him actual
yes.
direction in life.
And he said he's going to help my husband all the time.
Wow. Okay.
And he's a white man.
Okay. Very cool.
Yes, it is.
Good. So then, can you cite another example?
There's another guy that my husband helped. He brought him to United States and operated on him. And now he's a doctor too. And he's young, and he's early 30s. And he said he's going to continue the medical mission even after my husband is gone.
Good. Okay, so walk me through a process that if some listener here, whether they're a doctor or whether they're not involved in healthcare in any way at all, but you have someone who's a potential volunteer, walk me through the process of how they might become involved.
They can call they can email us, and they can let us know what kind of help they want to do. If they're not in healthcare, what kind of volunteerism they can do. Sometimes, if they're not in healthcare and they're just strong, they can help us pack, like I said, because just packing, it takes about weeks to pack many, many boxes to bring to the Philippines, or help us pick up loads of gifts for the kids and medication that has to be brought to the Philippines.
Good. So let's suppose there's a doctor who wants to volunteer his time, doesn't, in his mind he has no time, but he's still interested. So he goes to your website, he emails you, and what next? I mean, how do you take someone who's got a very busy life and plug them into an organization where you're leaving your world for a couple of weeks to go help elsewhere? How does that work?
Depending on his specialty, he can either go to the full 2 weeks or he can just do 1 week. It all depends on what he wants. They'll make it all very easy for him. And it's usually in January or February of each year. They go to the Philippines.
Okay.
But like I said, excuse me, for the Tecate, it's always the first Saturday of the month, and it's only 1 day affair.
Okay.
It's all medical mission there.
Okay, good. All right, well, we're just about out of time here. So I'm wondering if, one, you could let us know what your website is, okay? And two, if you have a summating message that you'd like to convey to the viewers.
Okay. Our website is www.hopefound.co. And my message to you is please help us, because if we are now a nonprofit organization, and we really do need help from you, because most of the people in our group are aging, and then they just don't have the capacity to help us anymore, and some of them have died. So we can continue this great endeavor to help other people, especially in the Philippines and Tecate, Mexico.
Well, thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Lourdes, for stopping by.
Thank you.
This is George Alger signing off for this segment of Our Ventura TV. Until we meet again.